densely populated. These are the buildings of modern Tokyo.
So, I've just landed in Tokyo. The sun's about to set, and I'm about to see something that I have waited a very long time to see. I'm talking about the iconic Tokyo skyline. The Tokyo skyline. Kind of boring.
But something's been going on over the last decade, something unspeakably disappointing, and that is Tokyo's skyline is starting to all look the same.
This wasn't the deal. This wasn't the skyline I was promised, the one I had seen over and over in movies and anime. This isn't the skyline of the city of the future. It feels like a city torn with its identity. I want to tell you a story. It's the story of Tokyo and its people. It's the story of a group of architectural visionaries who witnessed Tokyo's renewal from the ashes and embodied those ideals into a vision for a city of the future. But it's also the tragic story of how those same ideals are now causing the iconic Tokyo skyline to slowly disappear.
Okay, so I'm not saying that the Tokyo skyline is bad. I'm just saying it didn't live up to my expectations. When I landed here, I had this vision, well, I guess it was like a construct that was built for me about what this skyline was gonna look like. And then you come here, and what you see are these monolithic bricks. Whether you're in Shibuya, Shinjuku, the Imperial Palace, they all look the same. All you see are these monolithic bricks, and then you put them together from a skyline point of view, it just looks like a big monolithic pancake. Now, if you want to understand why the Tokyo skyline is disappearing, we gotta go back to two events that within the span of 22 years completely wiped Tokyo off the map.
The Great Kanto earthquake and the firebombings of Tokyo both completely destroyed the city of Tokyo. Now, Tokyo's always been a big city, but before the earthquake, it was a city built on wood and bricks. And it was only after the earthquake destroyed a large majority of the wooden houses and iconic brick buildings did Tokyo start to use concrete to build buildings. But a large majority of the buildings were still rebuilt using wood and bricks. And so when the firebombings began just 22 years later,
and this is the Tokyo ravaged by war. Whole suburbs of wooden houses were swept away by wartime fires.
And so they had to rebuild.
Tokyo is rebuilding, using timber wisely conserved by forest planning, using men and women to carve out a new city from bottom ruin.
And while the city was still rebuilding, the Korean War broke out, which triggered massive investment into the Japanese economy by the Americans. This was done so Japan could become America's arms supplier in the region, and it forced the city of Tokyo to transform into a sprawling utilitarian machine. Cause looks be damned, this cityscape was all about maximizing the means of production.
Oh, and they got rich. And they got rich quick.
The Japanese economy exploded, and with it came a resurgence in national pride. This coincided with the 1960 gathering of prominent Japanese architects in Tokyo. There, they embodied this sentiment into their manifesto: renewal, replacement, and regeneration, the Metabolist school of architecture.
And what they built was pretty damn amazing.
The Yoyogi National Stadium, the Nakagin Capsule Tower, the Fuji Televi Building, the Shizuoka Broadcast Tower. The Metabolist movement pushed the city of Tokyo away from their post-war utilitarian mindset to a renewed, modern, design-focused approach. But tragically, ironically, just as the Metabolists themselves envisioned, replacement was soon on its way.
Now, in the span of 22 years, Tokyo had been destroyed twice. And so what these two events did is they altered the Japanese psyche a little bit, because now they were so used to rebuilding that it actually just became an ingrained part of Tokyo's architectural culture.
And while I get that Tokyo's always about modernizing, changing, adapting, the dichotomy between old and new, I think if you're going to tear down an amazing building, replace it with something good. Don't just build another boring building. Last year we went in, had a look around this iconic building. This year, it's finally gone. They dismantled the capsules, and where once stood the iconic Nakagin Capsule Tower is now just a hole of nothing, soon to be filled with another generic apartment building.
I think one of the areas where you'll see like the greatest degradation of what the Tokyo skyline used to be like versus what it is now is if you go to Ginza.
Tokyo, Oriental City, is in many respects completely Western. The Ginza is Sydney's Pernice Market or London's Petticoat Lane.
Ginza is like this very popular and famous high-end shopping district. And if you look at it in the 60s, it was this really crazy, neo-futuristic looking place. This is the 60s. And then you look at it now, and all these luxury brands, whether it's Cartier, Louis Vuitton, all these brands, like they just build these massive bricks. Well, they put lights on the bricks, so that's cool, I guess, but it's still super monolithic. Like the pattern is, you see all these buildings have this exact same similar type of design, and they prop up everywhere. And there's a reason behind that.
In 1973, a world oil crisis ended Japan's economic miracle.
As the biggest oil importer in the world, Japan stands to suffer more than any other nation. With the doubling of the oil price, there will be more inflation, more unemployment, and an abrupt end to the Japanese boom.
This new high cost of, well, everything forced the Japanese to shift back to a utilitarian, cost-focused design mindset. National pride or the significance behind an architectural design were no longer a priority.
Okay, from a cost perspective, I can understand why you would build these buildings. Like, they're cost efficient, they're energy efficient, they don't require that much design thinking, like it's a box in the sky. But when you start building a bunch of these together, it's ruining the character of the city.
But like, yeah, they've got a very utilitarian mindset. As long as it gets the job done, that's the main thing.
But when you combine modern design with a utilitarian, cost-focused mindset, this is the skyline you get.
Go to Marunouchi over by Tokyo Station. All shiny new glass skyscrapers that could be copied and pasted from any other place on Earth. Then you've got behind me in Azabujuban, all just boring generic skyscrapers.
It's so unoriginal. And that's what I mean. That unoriginality, in my opinion, is so uncharacteristic of what I believe and what I expected the city of Tokyo to be like.
All the skyscrapers look the same.
And it's ironic, isn't it, that the iconic Tokyo skyline that was once defined by the metabolist ideals of renewal, replacement, and regeneration is now disappearing because of those same ideals.
That is a tragedy, and I worry that a lot of Tokyo's skyline is going to look like that in the not too distant future. I mean, it already is right now. That is why I hate modern Japanese architecture in cities, and I think it's a real shame. Sad, isn't it?
But it's not all sad, you know? I am hopeful. Tokyo is a city that's constantly evolving and changing. And so maybe, just maybe, I'll get to see a skyline that truly is beyond my wildest of dreams.